Hello everybody, it's time for the answers for DD 243, Daily Dictation 243. Now, this was from an advertisement, an AT&T advertisement. It's actually a series, and in DDM, Daily Dictation members, we studied the entire commercial. And we'll study a future in the future lesson, we'll study another commercial from this series. It's really cute. It's about a guy who's interviewing 4-year-old children. And he asks a question, and they give answers, and that's it. It's pretty cute. If you didn't do the dictation, let's watch again. Do your best, and then I'll give you the answers.
What's the biggest number you can think of?
A trillion, billion, zillion.
That's pretty big. Can you top that?
Infinity in one.
What's the biggest number you can think of? A trillion, billion, zillion. That's pretty big. Can you top that? Infinity and one. All right, so this was not that easy. The faster we say this S is a strong sound. This S can cancel both the T and the TH. So perfect pronunciation, what's the. But the faster we say it, what's the. What's the biggest number? And here also, the S is a strong sound, and so is the N. It cancels the T. There's no T. Biggest number. What's the biggest number? What's the biggest number you can think of? You can. Remember, can almost always in daily English sounds like kun. So it's a k, very short sound, schwa, but really short, and an N. You can think of. Linking. What's the biggest number you can think of? What's the biggest number you can think of? So it's a good question to a little child. These kids are about 4 years old. Some kids might say 10, some kids might say 20, some kids might say 100. Little children don't have the same concept with numbers as we do. But the first little girl says, a trillion, billion, zillion. Well, she's pretty smart because we do have a trillion, and there is a billion. So let's look at the numbers here. So this is singles, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, trillion. So this place is a trillion, and 12 zeros is 1 trillion. Wow, a trillion billion. Oh my God, that's a trillion billion zillion. Wow. What is a zillion? This is a number that we use as kids to express infinity. Do you know infinity? Infinity looks like this, well, something like that. No limit, endless, infinity. But children, 4-year-old children, usually don't know the word infinity. So we say zillion, million, billion, trillion, zillion. Zillion, it sounds good. It's the last letter of the alphabet. It's the omega, the end, zillion. So it's a kid's word, but everybody should understand. Zillion means basically infinity. So the man says, that's pretty big. Oh, you're pretty smart. That's quite big. In this case, pretty, actually instead of pretty, we could say quite. That's quite big. That number is quite large. That's pretty big. And then he looks at another girl and says, can you top that? And this was very difficult for most students. Most students could not get this question. Can you top that? Can you top that? So this is a great expression. Can you give me a bigger number? Can you tell me a larger number? Do you understand? Can you top that? So we can use this expression in many situations. Can you do better than that? So for example, there's a competition. It's a cake making competition. And I make a cake and it's a perfectly round chocolate cake with really nice decorations on top. And I give it to you. There you go. And my sister is my competitor. So the judge will say, well, thank you, Shane. Oh, Shane, it's excellent. And then he'll look at my sister. Can you top that? And of course, my sister is a better cook than me, and she will top that, and she will be the winner, and I will be the loser, because I always lose to my sister. But I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something else. Can you top that? Can you do better than that? In this situation, can you think of a bigger number than a trillion, billion, zillion? And she does. Infinity and 1. Wow. So not only did she not say zillion, she said the proper word, infinity, and 1, which means infinity plus 1. She's a genius. Very, very smart 4-year-old girl. Now, actually, the conversation is longer, and it's very funny. And we studied the full conversation in DDM. So I want you guys to join DDM. Please, join today. Join right now. If you want more information on DDM, there's a link below. If you want a free lesson, just send me an email. More information about that later. Okay? 1 point and 1 and 1. The N cancels the D and 1. It sounds like N, almost like engine. Infinity, D, 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 D. In America, this is a D sound. Infinity, infinity. That's pretty, pretty. This is also a D sound. It's not an R, prairie. It's not an L, prilly. If it's an R, prairie, prairie bird. No, it's not an R. If it's an L, prilly, prilly big. It's not prilly big. If it's a T, pretty, pretty big. Oh, now we sound like English people. Somebody from the UK. It's a D, pretty big. Pretty, D, 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 D. Pretty big, pretty big. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. This S makes the T weak. And now my explanation is done. Let's say it together. Are you ready? From the top. 1, 2, 3. What's the biggest number you can think of? A trillion, billion, zillion. That's pretty big. Can you top that? Infinity and 1. Listen again. Listen carefully. Can you hear everything? Especially this sentence.
What's the biggest number you can think of?
A trillion, billion, zillion.
That's pretty big. Can you top that?
Infinity and 1.
So, how was it? I hope it was easier for you. So once again, I do encourage you to join DDM. If you like daily dictation, you will love DDM, Daily Dictation members. What's the difference between DD and DDM? DD is a skinny guy. DDM is a muscular guy. DDM is daily dictation on steroids. That's a joke that Vicodin made a long time ago, and I do agree. If you want a free lesson, send me an email. My email address you can see, dailydictationmembers@gmail.com. And once a week I send out the free samples, so please email me today, and within a couple days you will get a free sample of what DDM actually is. DDM is a great self-study daily dictation program. Very in-depth, very in detail, lots more pronunciation and cultural explanations. It's really great. Okay, it's time for DD 244, and I'm thinking, should I make it easier or difficult, more difficult? Well, you'll have to watch and find out. Bye-bye.